We're here on the Euro Yen 15 minute, and there's a trade that I've just entered. It is a triangle, and I just want to talk through the trade, entry, stops and targets, and why I'm actually placing my stop in the position it is, and why I'm actually taking targets a little bit sooner than usual. So what we'll do is we'll do our top-down analysis from the dailies first and look at the trade. Okay, so here we are on the daily time frame, and this was something I spoke about in one of my last videos that I did, and all it was simply that we have done nothing but be bullish for around almost 2 weeks, and as we approached this level and came up to the 131 flat, we didn't quite reach it. I was expecting quite a big rejection at that zone. We came up to structure but not quite the even handled number, and so we got that rejection. Well, it's 11 o'clock now, so just an hour ago the daily candles closed, and if we drop down to the 240, what we can see here is we had obviously that very big rally. We had a small pullback, another rally, a small pullback, another rally with momentum candle, and then all we've done is just see the fall off. And quite importantly, if we put a structure level in there, we've actually closed below this wick. It's not actually a violation because we've not actually closed below this wick, but we've closed in the wick, and to me this is indicating, based on yesterday's candle, that we're going to go lower. Now the signal is on the 15 minutes, so let's drop down to the 60, have a quick look at that, and you can see here that what we've done on the 60 is we've actually already violated that level. And look at what price has done. We've had a momentum move lower, and all we're doing right now is trading sideways. And really importantly, just look at the little wicks here, little wicks, and as we drop down to the 15-minute time frame, you'll actually be able to see this triangle pattern. And what I'll do is I'll just delete everything off, and so it looks like this, and this is quite clear now. So here is the very distinct rally down. We clearly had a trend line here. Let me draw that out again, and what we've done then is we have come down and tested. So we've got one test, 1, 2, 2, 3 and 3. I love it when I see 3 touches either side. This gives me extra confirmation, and it allows me 3 structure levels really to get my stop behind. And if you want more confirmation, well, here you have it in the form of the RSI. We went oversold at 17, and we've got lovely divergence on this particular trade. And with this type of trade, I will always look for a minimum of a 127 extension to take targets. Now I am going to take them before the 127 extension, and I'm going to explain why in just a moment. So this is our entry. Our stops are going to be above this swing high. We're going to be just 5 pips above this swing high, so it's going to put us at 129.83. And our targets, well, one thing we want to be aware of is that we've actually put in a cipher pattern here, and the cipher pattern looks like this, and the completion is actually around there. Now normally I would take profits at the completion of the cipher pattern. However, in this instance I'm not going to do that because price is telling me, well, I believe that price can come lower based on a little bit of experience, and I'll tell you what I mean. Let me just put that fib back in the correct place. Okay, so there's the 786. So our risk is looking like this on this particular trade. So we've got our stop above the entire pattern. It is the safest place to have it. And my target I've gone for is just above the 127. Now really importantly, there's a psychological number there, the 129 flat. I'm going to want to be 10 pips above that particular psychological number, and that's just through back testing that I've done on this currency pair. I know that psychological numbers act as magnets, so we're going to be drawn towards that, and so there's a good chance that we could come down to test the 129 flat, but I always front run by 10 pips. And so we're risking on this trade 33 pips, and here we're looking for a reward of 39. Let me do that again. Is that right? Yep, a reward of 39. Okay, so why then am I not taking profits at the completion of the cipher pattern? Well, if we just have a quick look at what price has done, we have just on the hourly, we have violated this level, and we're actually holding this level right now below this structure zone, which is the psychological number 129.50s, and so this type of pattern typically just drops. And if we look left for where the next structure level is, the next structure level is down here. We could certainly see a move all the way down to this level. However, just above it we have the 129 flat, and so I'm going to want to be above that. So that's the reason for taking profits at that zone, and we'll come back and see if this trade was a winner or a losing pattern. And we're back on the euro yen. I'm doing this as an interim video. What's happened is the market came up and spiked me out, and then has traded sideways for excuse me, almost an hour. Here we are on the 15-minute time frame, and made a mistake on the first bit of analysis that I did. Well, when I say a mistake, I used poor judgment for the stop placement. I only went 5 pips above this spike high here, and typically I would go further back than that, because I look at the market, that the market will do what it can to stop you out. Now that doesn't mean I'm being stop hunted. The market is extremely difficult to trade, and unless you use good stop placement, you will be stopped out more frequently and see fewer winners than you would using proper stop placement. And on this type of trade, I should have had my stop further back. I should have made this a 1-to-1, and the reason I've got back involved is because we came up to test the highs here. Let me put that structure level on there. You can see that we had a rejection, and then we've just traded sideways. So for me the trade is still valid, and if you look down here, we actually had a lower low, lower close. We actually closed below this level, so everything indicating that we can still go lower. Just because we never saw the drop instantly is irrelevant to me, and that is purely based on experience and my back testing. And so in actual fact, I've only just got in this trade. I actually wanted my stop up there just above that spike, and so the trade is still valid. So we'll come back and hopefully see if we can earn our pips back. If we don't, well, I've cost myself more pips because I didn't use the correct stop placement in the first place. But you know, mistakes happen, and if this trade goes on to win or lose, nevertheless I know that originally I should have had my stop in a better place. My alarm's just been triggered, and we're pushing lower now on this trade. There's my text message that comes through to my mobile. I am now able to move 2 pips past break even on this trade. I'm disappointed, to be honest, disappointed with myself, because I have been working on better stop placement and ensuring I don't make mistakes for quite a period of time, and I do look at this as a mistake. I should have been 10 pips above that above the high. They're my standard rules. I will go back and rewatch this entire video again, and I'll make notes of it, and I'll strive to do better and make less mistakes. The good thing is that this is actually now going to be a break-even trade if we can push down that extra couple of pips to go and hit those targets. And just really look at what we did. You know, we made a new low here, we came up to retest the highs, spiked up, and that was the reason for me getting back, getting involved again in the trade. And if this hits, I will instantly buy it up for the cipher pattern that we have. Okay, we're just back retesting the buy order now. Just need it to spike through 1 pip, and we'll be able to capture this as a live winning trade. Okay, we came back down and hit targets, and it's taken. So that was a nice winning trade for, I think it was 53 pips in the end.